Rolling, we are rolling.
Yep. Six is kind of looking like the same team before the Rona started decimating them.
Yep.
Well. Welcome to another episode of the Uncensored Philly Sports Podcast. You got Wayne and Tim.
We're the Road Warriors.
Yeah. You know, I can't talk about nobody too much. I took a hiatus. I took my little vacation. I was out. I ain't gonna hold you. But I'm back. I'm back on the grind. And the Sixers are back too. Now, let's keep it a bean. You know what I'm saying? San Antonio is San Antonio. However, the Sixers are handling business. They're beating the teams they're supposed to beat, and they're beating them convincingly, not blowing them out by like 30 or nothing like that. But did you ever feel like this game was in doubt?
Never.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Never.
I mean, I actually got a little bored at certain times, and then was glad when the bench came in and gave up a couple points. And then I'm glad they had to bring Embiid back in down the stretch because I wanted to see some more of Embiid, who's playing like MVP.
Yeah, he playing like the best player, especially with Steph Curry stinking it up the last week. He's definitely. But
everybody played well tonight, though.
Embiid put himself in the MVP race right now. He's one of the top 4 or 5 candidates. I'm gonna say probably top 3. You got to put Embiid. Embiid has played himself into this. He already was NFC. I'm about to say NFC player, Eastern Conference Player of the Month last month. Yeah. So he's been doing his thing. So you got to recognize his work.
Yeah, I mean, this is. Like I say, I make no qualms about it. He's on my squad, and he's my favorite player on my squad. He's my favorite player in the league right now. This is the kind of things I'm talking about with Embiid. This is why I feel like with Embiid, with a player like Embiid, if your other players, role players, play their roles, you have a chance against anybody, in my opinion, because he's a special talent. You know, now again, we're talking about San Antonio, but we do see where Embiid has made. Like I thought it was 2 passes he made tonight to Thybulle cutting, and I thought they were amazing.
It was 3.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, you're right, 3. Yep, 3 passes to Thybulle, and I thought it was amazing. Like he's using his size to see over and to make smart plays. So
he like a quarterback learning how to read defenses, and now when that blitz come, he know exactly where to throw the ball to. That's exactly how Embiid was tonight.
Yep.
I mean, you couldn't ask for a better play from him down the stretch at the start of the game. When he ended the game, I mean, he almost had another triple double. Yeah, with 31 points again. So the man, he was amazing.
But he had like 7 assists.
7 assists and double digit rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
So he balled out.
Yeah, and that's like I said, I think he's and just to see the moves that he make, I think it's special. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know we talk about athletic, we get to talk about the athletic players, the high flyers and stuff like that. But for someone to move the way that he moves at 7 feet tall that is amazing in itself. You know what I'm saying? The agility that he can attack the basket and move and spin and all that. But it also was a game where I'm wondering. See, I don't want to get too excited just yet because I ain't gonna front. That little slide we went on, that joint was a little nerve-wracking because it's like
it was a lot going on though. It was a lot.
It was a lot going on. But however, for a minute it looked like it was going to be a little rough coming out of that. So this is one of the things that we do have to give somebody like Doc. I know we rip Doc sometimes about his play calling and everything else. But do you not think that to keep them afloat, even with that rough patch that they went through, as rough as that patch was, and then you had the whole Ben Simmons stuff that's going on, I think you have to give Doc some credit for keeping this ship afloat and for keeping them in position to be like this.
I agree. I mean, because you got a lot. Think about it. Ben has your starting point guard, who you expect to be your starting point guard. He decided that he's going to take a few months off, work on his game. And then you got Maxey, a young boy coming in, taking over that position. And then you got the whole Rona situation where everybody on the team got touched with it one way or another, including the coaches. And then you do all of that, and then you still are number 5 in the East. You're still number 5 in the East. I mean, I wait till Chicago. I don't think they got hit like everybody else has. That's why they shining. So imagine.
And my thing is Chicago is up there, but we beat them twice.
Yep,
we beat them twice when we talking about matched up and going against them.
That's true. I like our chances. I mean, don't get me wrong. Rosen is balling.
No, yeah.
The Rosen is he getting off. But and another prop I gotta get to who had a very good game was Seth Curry. Seth Curry is slightly on low key. He's been balling lately as well. Him and B, they got that special thing going on, that pick and roll and that just setting them screens for one another.
I look like JJ. It looked like Embiid and JJ back in the day. Right?
I thought JJ and B had something special, but this is better because Seth could do more. He can go to the hole and lay the ball up. You can tell he played a lot of horse in his life because
all them. For somebody as unathletic as Seth is, he can get. But see, it depends on the competition. When you have Seth is not going to light up a lights out defender, but if you give him some regular defensive guys that's not like shut him down, defensive player of the year types, Seth can get some baskets in there, and it helps when Embiid isn't dominating the way he is. Tobias had a solid game. We had some of the comments. Danielle, I agree. Embiid's stamina has looked, and even when people was ripping Embiid earlier on, my thing is I thought his stamina looked fine in the beginning of the season. COVID is a different monster, and you do have to recuperate from that. We've seen this. We see this in everyday life. People seeing family members and stuff going through these things, and we see on the news every day. People are going. People from work. We see people everyday life that's suffering from it. So it is something to that. But that being said, Embiid played himself back into shape.
Yep. And Ellis, how I feel about Embiid these days, I can't. I have nothing bad to say about Embiid. He's been balling. So I know y'all want me to hate. I have nothing to hate about. I have nothing to hate about Embiid right now. Probably on Monday, maybe, but not tonight.
Hey, Jamar, listen. I see because I spoke up so much for Tobias, it comes off like I'm a Tobias apologist, and it's not that. And I do get it because I do think that in the playoffs, Tobias numbers drop down some, and I need him to be more productive in the postseason. But that being said, coming into this season, I listened to a lot of interviews with him, and he was saying how it was a lot of things where from this postseason that they had just played, he realized how important certain stuff was that you would hear from Doc, and you wasn't necessarily like with certain things about handling certain situations on the court, and it was like they were caught off with certain stuff. Now, I don't excuse that because they shouldn't have been, because if your coach is telling you certain situations be prepared for,
yeah,
and y'all got hit with it and it kind of took y'all off guard, that's on y'all. But that being said, him and Embiid talked a lot about making adjustments and learning from their situation. And I thought Tobias came in. I thought the Sixers came in this year and showed some improvement, even without Ben Simmons, especially since a lot of people thought that they would fall off without him. Not everybody, but some people did. But I'm saying that to say, I'm willing to give Tobias the same grace period that I was willing to give Steph Curry last year.
I ain't get no grace period. That boy need to just step up and stop playing. Like, he had a good game today, so I can't knock him. But he was in a slump. He was stinking it up. So now
he was. But so was Seth. Remember last year during the season after Seth had COVID, and we was like, man, like what happened to him? Like it's like
he also got injured a little bit too. I think
it was just a struggle for him to get back from COVID. And then by the time the playoffs came,
but everybody reacted to COVID a little differently. It's not so Tobias, I need you to be consistent. Give me that 22 to 25 points a game. You're an 11-year vet. Come on, man. No, I'm not making excuses for that bull no more.
No. I'm not making excuses for him either, but I do think that there's something to it. The same way Embiid looked like he was struggling. His numbers already wasn't up when the season started. But then when he came back from COVID, he didn't look like that. Everybody was talking about he was sick. He probably was laying around eating Chick-fil-A, all this other stuff.
He liked
Chick-fil-A. Everybody was doing a lot of hating on him.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's balling. He's balling every game. Consistently so far. Knock on wood, whatever you want to say. But he's playing, and he's playing with dominance, inside and out. He's
the ball in San Antonio Center had a long night. He had a very long night. But Mattise gave us 12 points. Mattise played very well today. I thought him being in the starting lineup, we kind of missed in the last couple of games because even though we won those games, you was missing that defensive presence, and we got it back. See, you see how he came back from COVID and no problem whatsoever, just chilling. So that's it. You making an excuse. You giving all this grace to him based off of what Seth did last year. But look at Mattise. Matisse's first game back, and you couldn't tell he was going anywhere. Actually, he looked fresher. He looked sharper. He was 5 for 5 tonight.
Man, Mattise first game back from what?
Didn't he have COVID? He just came back from COVID too.
Mattise ain't played last game. He been playing. What are you talking about?
Mattise ain't been playing. Mattise
wasn't just playing last game. Hold on. Maybe I'm tripping.
You are.
I know.
Tripping.
Okay, hold on. I know I've been.
Mattise and Maxey both been out. This is his first game back. What's the box score for Matisse last game? Nothing. Because he ain't in here. He's not even in the box score. But
I swore Matisse because I swore we was just talking about him.
Yeah, we talked about how we missed him.
So he just missed the last 2 games then.
Yeah, he was on Monday and Wednesday.
He wasn't out no weeks or nothing like that. He missed the last 2 games, but he just played
games.
a whole bunch. No, he didn't. He missed 2 games.
I mean, he missed 5. He was like away from the team like five days.
He missed 2 games. That ain't the same as missing like 2 weeks out of it. Stop. That's not the same.
He still had
Mattise had a cold. Mattise had matter of fact, he probably ain't even had COVID. He tested positive. We don't know how. Not downplaying it because it is a serious thing, but you know how, like you said, there's different levels of it.
Yeah.
But that being said, Toby still has to show me in the playoffs though.
Exactly.
But I'm saying
nothing.
I ain't gonna say it doesn't mean it means nothing, because I also think that before the COVID hit the team, we showed depth. Whereas though when you had Minivan coming off the bench, and I mean Shake is still out now, but you had Minivan coming off the bench. Korkmaz was playing better. It seems as though now that they're getting some of their depth back, Korkmaz is playing decent again. Yep. I hope it lasts this time.
It ain't gonna last, but we'll take what we can get.
But see, I think a lot of those players, role players and bench players are bench players and role players for a reason.
Mr. Wayne, that's hate. Mr. Wayne, that's hate. Don't talk about
what he said. You talking about Mattise? But those kind of players are role players for a reason, though. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't get caught up in it. Like when people say, "Oh, you could put Niang in there. He could start for Tobias." Like I don't buy into that.
I don't buy into that's Ethan and Ephraim. That's their whole analogy.
So we see, and the other thing that like I do appreciate because I think Toby cares. Like I think it started becoming a head game. Hopefully he's out of it, but we got to see. I need to see it against better competition. I need to see when we play top teams. I need to see him playing, because that's when we're going to really need you, and that's when I need to see him playing with that same type of play that he had tonight.
That you see the fans, when he cares too much, because when a fan started booing, he got scared and he was all it played too well on. That was the first time they ever booed him. That's what I say. So we got a lot of sensitive dudes. I want to talk about this early.
But was he? But see, this one, was he sensitive when he said that? When he said don't? I don't know.
Because first of all, Danny Green came and started talking about him. Some the fans gotta do better, and when the fans do gotta do better, I'm not even excusing the fans. I think the fans, because everybody keeps saying Philly fans get a bad rap. No, they don't. Everything that people say about them is pretty much accurate. So I don't buy that. But at the same time, we got some softies on our team. I mean, I'm gonna ask you, going to the playoffs, is this team strong enough to because when I go back to that Western Conference final when they was going, when Phoenix was going up against the Clippers, they was battling. It wasn't a lot of softness going on. They were trying to see who's going to come out the winner. They was battling. It was like gladiator. Do we got that type of squad that could battle in the East I mean, because the Bucks. Say what you want about the Bucks. The Bucks are formidable. You see what they're doing to the Nets tonight.
I don't get caught up in one game scenarios.
But the Bucks has a. To me, they the barometer for the Sixers. Can we match up against Milwaukee? Everybody else is just we don't know how it's going to be, but we do know what the Milwaukee Bucks can do.
I mean, I don't know. I don't, and it's not to take nothing from the Bucks, but I've seen the Bucks for years now. The Bucks do seem like they turn
you can't talk about the you got to talk about the recent history.
Okay, we're talking about this past year. Yeah, I saw them when the Nets was hurt. I did.
but they also beat Phoenix. But Phoenix wasn't hurt.
No, Phoenix wasn't.
And they beat them.
Maybe Phoenix was soft then. Everybody talking. Remember all these people that was talking about something. Oh, I'd rather have. Matter of fact, I think you was one of them. What's the center in Phoenix? Well, I'd rather have him than Embiid. Give me him over Embiid. I want somebody tough like that over me. Y'all out y'all rabbit mind.
No, I mean Embiid sure is doing his thing, but he got to continue playing like that. He got to keep balling like that. I can't.
Hey, Mar, I'm not saying that Philly fans don't take it too far sometimes. I guess you know what the problem, what bothers me is, and it's not even so much when Philly fans say it don't bother me as much, but it's this overwhelming thought that Philadelphia fans are so much worse and so much unrealistic than anybody else. And my thing is, that's fans anywhere. You have fans, fanatics anywhere. Like
no, Philly, they go a little overboard.
That's because you're here in Philly, and this is because what they promote. You tell me Boston fans don't. You tell me Boston fans don't go overboard. Boston fans don't go overboard.
Who?
Knicks fans don't go overboard.
Knicks fans, not Philly. I think Philly might be the worst.
Because I know Boston fans and I know Knicks fans and I know Raider fans and the same way everybody talking about the Eagles fans is just at the 700 level. The Raiders fans and the Dodgers fans and all them out there was out there stabbing people. Like, but this is everybody talking about how bad Philly fans are. Fans are bad like that everywhere.
You defending the indefensible. Philly fans at times are the worst.
Every fan base at times are the worst.
But I'm just saying we
unless I ain't gonna say every, because some just don't care. So some fan bases just don't care. But the fan bases that care about their teams and follow their teams relentlessly like that are that way.
All right, going back to remember that, because I think the media in Philadelphia is kind of feed the fans. They kind of feed the flames. Remember when Donovan McNabb, when he originally got drafted, they took the bus load to the draft. They was called themselves the 30-30, and all of them went over there and booed the pick. The Philly fans booed
30 people.
McNabb never forgot about that, and those they are
McNabb was soft. But the 30 people booed, but they didn't boo McNabb. They booed the pick because they wanted Ricky Williams, who was projected to be this great player.
It doesn't matter. They still booed him. This is
our
reputation. The reputation is real.
What? So what? Even in college, these you know what go on in some of these college arenas and stuff. The stuff they talk and they do.
I'm not supporting the buffoonery that happens with Philly fans. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think we are one of the greatest fan bases, but at the same time, they be out of pocket a lot. They be out of pocket.
I'm not saying that they don't. I'm saying that fan bases are out of the pocket everywhere. Everywhere. Philly has this reputation. That's the first thing the media do. The media, when they come in, and I do think that there is a pocket of Philly fans that take pride in that, and they want to try to be worse than everybody else. I do think, but I used to think the Raider fans was that same way. Like, you do have a pocket of fans that are like, yeah, we intimidate people, this, that, and they're like, God, come on, that's corny though. I agree with y'all on that part, but I don't think that Philly fan base is so like people come. Philly fans run such and such out of town. They run people out of town. They don't run people out of town.
They do.
No, they don't. Who he run out of town?
Barkley the other day said he thought
Texas fans ain't run Barkley out of town.
Barkley wanted to get out because the organization ran him out of town. They didn't give him enough talent. But Barkley said when he went to Phoenix, he thought he couldn't believe it because the fan base was so nice and they just treated him so well. He wasn't used to that. He said they was always.
And let me ask you this: where do you think Barkley goes to more often? Like, don't Barkley got a house or something in the Philly area?
In the wintertime, I mean,
okay, but I'm saying
in the summertime he stays in Philly for summertime. Guess we live the regular season in Phoenix.
Where he lives in Phoenix.
Yeah, that's where he lives. That's where he stay. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay, fair point.
That's the something I'm just saying. As far as you can't defend him.
But I'm gonna fact check you on that. I don't know because sometimes
he's there. That's where he live at.
All right, I believe.
If you're not filming in Atlanta.
Yeah, hold up. Hey, man, tell him Utah fans were straight racist coming at Westbrook. But see, nobody. Oh, that's an isolated incident. We don't hear about all those instances. As soon as Sports Center come on, I never forget.
First of all, nobody counts Utah. Nobody goes to Utah.
Why not? Why not?
You travel, you get a layover in Utah. That's about it. The only reason why they did.
Why not?
So
what? But you're still there and you're playing and you're in front of these fans. Boston was one of the most racist fan bases out there. Everybody talked about going into Boston, going into the what they call it back in the day, playing on that park.
There's one thing as far as race. I'm just talking about a fan base that's out of control. If you talking about fan bases that are just out of control, I think you got to put Philly up there in the top 5. Sorry, no, I love Philly.
I'm not necessarily disputing their level of the height of love. My thing is, I don't think that people make it like is Philly fan base. Well, I guess I go down here. Philly fan base is down there, and even to the point where they say Philly fans don't know what they're talking about. Like this is the kind of stuff that people talk. Oh, they're just such and such that. For the most part, I think that most of Philadelphia. Excuse me. I think most of Philadelphia fan base do know what they do, understand sports and know sports, and they care about it and they're passionate about it.
I agree with the fan base knowing sports. I'm not even.
But they try to make it like the fans don't know because they're always saying, "Well, what the fans know." Like even with when certain things about Donovan McNabb, that remember the Philly fan base used to say certain things about Donovan, and they just don't respect Donovan. Donovan's so great, this, that, and other. Then Donovan go to Washington, and all of a sudden everybody like, man, Donovan.
But Donovan's old at the time he was. It's a clock on every.
I'm not even just talking about his playing.
Trash at the end.
I'm not talking about his playing. I'm talking about his personality. Remember when people talking about I used to always talk about how goofy Donovan was. And people would sit up there and tell you, but then when Donovan got on ESPN and he started talking, people was like, this boy sound like a noodle. But Philly fans was calling him out for the noodle stuff from a long time ago. But we're just unappreciative and haters when we do it.
He got you to 5 NFC championship games.
Yeah, Andy did. Yeah.
He did.
I know, I ain't going to like that. I mean, as a person, you know what my biggest thing with Donovan was? The whole thing with T.O., Donovan played himself like a chump to me.
He did.
He's like a jealous chump, and it irked me because I think him and T.O. could have went to multiple chips.
But T.O. did not help at all, and you know that. It's like,
but I think T.O. was right in that situation.
T.O. wanted Donovan to speak up about his contract, but everybody told T.O. not to sign a contract anyway. But he did it. He did it.
So Donovan couldn't speak up. So Donovan couldn't speak up for it.
Donovan should have spoken. I agree with that, but at the same time,
and then right after that, Donovan showing the noodle that he is. Right after that, when T.O. was going, as soon as Westbrook contract came up the next year, he was like, "Yeah, they need to sign Westbrook. They need to get Westbrook his money."
We agree that McNash just said something, but
so I'm saying, I think
you don't need to blow up the whole spot. I mean, I blame the Eagles. This is off topic, but I blame the Eagles organization more than Donovan. They should have just handled it.
I blame Donovan more because the Eagles was handling it. They thought it was funny. Andy Reid them thought it was funny, but Donovan, all of a sudden, Donovan started faking injuries and he couldn't play now until T.O. was benched. Now all of a sudden he's rejuvenated. Donovan just was a corny dude. He was a baller. He could play. I'm not going to say he couldn't play football, but he was corny.
Yeah, hit that like button, everybody. Everybody in the chat, hit that like button. Wes Raw, I agree. You said Doc gets a lot of criticism, but his offensive system is nice to watch when it's clicking, unlike Brett Brown's. I agree with that.
Absolutely.
I definitely agree with it. Even when he first signed with us, Tobias Harris said one thing. They said you're gonna like he said you're gonna get better as far as you'll have the best stats you'll have under Doc Rivers. So he does have a good offensive system. And Remember the Sixers was they had the top scoring offense in the league before Embiid went down. Yeah, that's true.
They had the number 1 offense in the league. That people forget that. We had the number 1 offense in the league before he went down.
Yeah. No, we look good. We beat a few cupcakes, and we got another cupcake on us schedule on Monday. We got to play the Rockets again.
Sorry, we also beat the Nets. We beat Boston.
That's the
Boston.
Yeah, Boston and Nets. Speaking of Boston and Nets, did you see that game yesterday with Boston and the
Boston
Knicks?
and the Knicks. No, I heard about it though. I was thinking about going
back. That was beautiful. They was going back and forth. What you call that? 41. What's his name? I forget his name. They were just balling.
Yeah,
it was a good game.
Hey, Mr. Wing, I don't think that Carson necessarily got a pass. I think that it was a large contingency of Eagle fans. No. Wait. So you telling me it wasn't a whole bunch of people like you running around talking about some big Nick, all that other stuff? Y'all wasn't running around talking Nick Foles.
No. Okay, I will say that there was some Nick Foles lovers, but Carson got a free pass here. I mean, because he never did nothing.
I don't think he got a free pass.
He got a free pass. He got a free ride.
He got ripped by a lot of people though.
Everybody was all empathetic because he kept getting injured. He got his money way in advance. They signed him 2 years before the contract kicked in.
Guess what? They did that for Ben, but it don't make you feel no kind of way about Ben.
Because Ben contributed to the team. It was a big time contributor.
Wait. Ben was Ben a bigger contributor to the Sixers than Carson Wentz was for the Eagles?
Absolutely.
You smoking dog food.
Absolutely. Carson, we won.
Carson Wentz was the MVP candidate that year.
But he wasn't an MVP, and he didn't get us to the Super Bowl. Guess who got us? The backup quarterback got us to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Nick Foles played a good 2 games. Yes, one of them was the Super Bowl. Though one of them was the Super Bowl. He played,
and that was a great game. He went head to head with
he was a pinch hitter. He was a pinch hitter. That was a good job.
That's what I said. So you
came in and did his job.
And then the following year, we was headed nowhere near the playoffs, and then Carson gets hurt again, and then we back in the playoffs, and we won a playoff round. So yes, Carson.
I said, Carson did face his share of criticism because people felt like it was a large contingent of people that felt. That's my whole point. Is Carson did face a good share of criticism. He didn't get a free ride.
Mr. Wayne, you're right. After Carson played bad, they tried to give him every single excuse in the book. Absolutely. That's facts.
I don't necessarily. First of all, I do believe that they did have trash receivers. Are any of them dudes even in the league anymore? Except for Ward, and he don't get no burn.
All right. Those trash receivers won a Super Bowl?
No, they didn't.
They got to the Super Bowl and they won it.
No, they didn't.
Without the star quarterback, those receivers.
No, they didn't. No. Wait. I'm not talking about the ones we went to the Super Bowl with. I'm talking about the ones the last time we went to the playoffs. Remember when we had Ward was our stud receiver, and the other 2 guys that's not even on the team anymore, and JJ and all of them. Remember that? I'm talking about that team that we went to the playoffs with.
They still won the playoff round. They went to the playoffs. They went around, and then
they didn't win around. That's what. Remember, I'm talking about the last time we went to the playoffs. And
last
Carson
time we went to the playoffs,
in the Seattle game.
Oh yeah, Carson Wentz got hurt. That's when he.
But that year, are you telling me? You telling me that we didn't have trash receivers that year? And the year following that?
The year following that was last year.
Yeah, and we had trash receivers.
Well, we still got those same receivers now.
No, we got the 2 best receivers we got on the team. Now we didn't have last year. We had Smith and Watkins.
We got Watkins was with us last year. He's not a rookie.
But we wasn't using him though. Was he getting anything last year?
I can't remember.
That's what all I'm saying is our 2 best receivers this year we did. Now, that being said, I feel like Carson the way I feel about Ben. Once you sit in here and you start talking like Carson had no grounds to come out and be crying and moaning the way he did because the organization took care of him when he was often in. So I have no allegiance to Carson because he was out of pocket. And once he said he was they was willing to get rid of the coach for you, and then they're asking you to come back and you still acted that way, go.
Exactly.
I don't wish no bad on him or nothing, but I don't care about him. He didn't want to be here.
So do you think we could move up? Going back to the Sixers, we're in the 5th spot now. You think we can get up to the thirds, 2 or 3?
I think we can. I mean, we won the last couple games even without Maxey, right? When was the last time Maxey played?
Yeah, Maxey been out since he ain't played all week long.
So I mean, we winning. Last time we seen Maxey, him and B was balling. So B still balling now. So we're doing this without our. I want to say Maxey our second best player, but I can't give him that yet.
He's the second best player on our team.
I can't give him that yet. How consistent has he
him.
been? I mean, Toby hasn't been consistent either, but I'm just saying, if I had to choose between the two, I'm probably going to take Maxey. But I'm just saying, off of the strength of Maxey's done it, because Maxey wasn't even doing that in the beginning of the season. Now, when they went down, Maxey did step up, which how we wanted him to. And then even when B came back, his numbers dropped down again, but then he started picking up again. So if you're telling me the Maxey off of the last time we seen him play, I'm taking that Maxey as my second best player. But I haven't seen Maxey do that consistently with the, you know what I'm saying? I need to see him do that consistently.
No, I see it's coming. I think we're going to overtake Miami in that fourth spot. And we can get Milwaukee. Milwaukee, they look strong though. I ain't gonna lie. They look like the team that they're ready to repeat.
Oh no, email. I should have known as soon as I said Carson, email will pop up. No. A lot of it was on Carson. And if anybody listened to this podcast, that was the first year of our podcast. I ripped Carson a whole lot that year, but I also ripped the whole team. I ripped Carson to the point where people was calling me a Carson hater and saying I was being unreasonable. Like anytime that I'm being real and talking about what I see out there, either I'm a hater or I'm over loving something. But I'm just calling it as I see it at that time. Like, but I do think Carson made it the first couple games of the year. I ripped Carson. I feel like the first game against Washington, that was all on Carson. I've said that numerous times when I talked about it, but then I also talked about the team they didn't have talent on it. But that being said, Carson dug his own grave. So
sure did.
But yeah, the Sixers though, I feel the way always feel about him. I feel like as long as we got Embiid, we have a chance. As long as the other players play decently.
You know what I get props to? The young boy from Philly, the boy Charlie Brown Jr.
Mm-hmm.
He was active up top. When I saw him, I hope he gets to stick around. I don't know if he was just overly hyped for playing in the NBA like that, but I don't know if you saw defensively. He had like 3 steals up top, just real active against San Antonio guards. But I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at him, but I mean, he didn't score a lot. I think he had 3 points, but he I like what I saw. It was a small segment, small portion. I don't know if anybody got a chance to look at it.
What did you think about? Was you really paying any attention? I might have to go back and watch this game because I'm mad at myself because I really wasn't paying much attention. But the point guard that they have in San Antonio, because remember, a lot of people was talking about it was a possibility that San Antonio wanted Ben and was offering like those young players that they have over there.
So you talking about
Murray, ain't that his name? I think.
Now Murray, nice.
Yeah.
He's 6'4" too. He's on a taller side. If we was to get him, but that I don't know if he's worth Ben.
Let's see for Ben. And listen, Herb again. See, people hear me talk about Ben now, and they call me a Ben hater and this, that, and other. But that whole season, I was called being a Ben apologist because I said I respect what Ben brings. I want Ben to give more, but I saw the value in what Ben did bring. Now, that being said, I do think that, and I had multiple arguments talking about Ben Simmons being the second best player on the team last year. And Tim knows I sat here and had that debate all the time that I thought Ben Simmons was the second best player on the team.
Yeah.
That being said, he's no longer on the team and doesn't want to be on the team. So when I talk about the second best player on the team, when I talk about the Sixers team, I don't include Ben Simmons in the discussion because he won't be here.
I mean, he finished. The boy Murray finished with 27 points.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to, that might be a good look. If we can get Murray for Ben, and then they got to give us something else, some draft picks or something, or another.
But that's
player.
what the discussion was. I think it was like 2 of those young players. This is what was being offered. This is what the rumors were saying was being offered from San Antonio. Him, and there was another one of them. I can't remember the name. Somebody out there probably remember. for Ben. And I really do think that Morey just was hyping. I don't think Morey was ready to trade Ben earlier in the season. I think he knows he's going to have. I think he really did hope that Ben would come to his senses because they're thinking nobody can be that dumb.
That's stubborn to give away money and everything.
Yeah, for lack of a better word. But it's like the reality came that they knew they was going to have to trade him. And I also think that they really thought they was going to get Dame Lillard for him. But the reality of all that faded. And I do think, but the same way some people say that Ben Simmons has no value, we're hearing more and more murmuring that teams in the league are asking about him again.
They are.
Because you get to that deadline.
But I'm not giving him up for nothing or for
and I'm still not either.
$1.
I'm still not either.
Somebody in the chat asks, what do you think the Sixers are selling right now?
Depending on what trade they make with Ben, I still
without a trade for Ben and the team as this constructed right now, I would say that they're not as good as the Nets on the road. The Nets at home without Kyrie, I think they got a shot. I still feel they're not better than Milwaukee. They're just not.
I want to see them against Milwaukee with their team. Even last year when they played against Milwaukee, they played against them twice without Embiid. So, I mean, and I give Milwaukee's a defending champs, and they are who they are. But that being said, I give the Sixers a puncher's chance against anybody. That's how I feel because I think Embiid is that special of a player. Now, of course, with the Nets, you talking about 3 special players, but I've also not seen those 3 special players play together consistently for what they played together like 8 games last year.
Yeah, last year everybody was with heart and hamstring injury. Right, Durant went out, so it was like there was no continuity at all.
And one of the things I also look at that, and I know it's going to sound dumb and everything else, but I think the Nets defense. Sometimes I think you can have too much of great offensive players. Not of course you want that offensive players, but I think like the Nets have a lot of role players that play scrappy, hard, tough defense that make it hard for other teams to score at times and everything else. But I think that when you have Kyrie and Harden and Durant, and I think Durant's a great 2-way player, and I think Harden's a decent defensive player. But that being said, when you're calling on them to carry that offensive load, how much tough defense are you going to get out of them in the playoffs?
You might not need it. You just try to outscore everybody.
Maybe, but we also talked about how the Sixers can score though, right?
They still got Patty Mills, and then I think the boy Claxton is a nice defender.
Oh, he's an excellent defender.
He's going to continue to get better.
But what I'm saying is, when you have all 3 of those superstars playing, that takes minutes away from some of those other guys. So, do you think Patty Mills is going to play as many minutes if Kyrie's playing?
No, but he can come in and go bombs away. Maybe less is more.
But maybe, for him. or less is less. Like it might not be able to get. And that's why I'm saying, and I'm not saying that that's going to be the case, but that's why I'm saying I want to see them. I want to see everybody like fully constituted what they're going to look like. So then you can, you know what I'm saying? You can, because look at Joe Harris. Everybody was hyped. Joe Harris, 3-point shooting, everything. I don't hardly ever even hear his name this year.
I think he's injured.
But I'm saying even when he play in the regular season, you don't never hear from Joe Harris in the postseason.
Yeah. I think he's he never shows up in the postseason, but right now I think he's actually injured. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna be back here. Are you showing up for the Eagles game tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a late game.
If they show up, I'll show up. I'm not sitting there watching no practice squad play tomorrow.
You don't want to see Minshew? You don't want to see Minshew in prime time?
I'd rather watch Jalen than watch Minshew.
All right. So we'll be back after the game tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that comments and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This is the Uncensored Philly Sports Podcast. Hit that like button. We out.